Hi guys, Alice Taylor down here at Leathern Golf Academy, and today a new iron we're testing. So if you're Taylormade and you've got potentially their most successful iron ever, launched 2 years ago, the P790. Like I said, 2 years, that's a long time potentially for a Taylormade golf club. What do you do if you need a new club? Well, you bring out the brand new P790 iron. Right then guys, so the brand new P790. Now what I love about this club with Taylormade is Taylormade get a lot of kind of negative press, I think, about changing their equipment on a regular basis. And I won't disagree that I think certain things have changed too much. But the original P790 has been a fantastically performing golf club. And really, when you read up about what's going into the new head, it's not really big changes. It's kind of a little bit of an upgrade, maybe as a lot of the car manufacturers do. So I love the fact that they're sticking with P790, not making any wild claims about performance, but I'm going to hit a few shots just off camera with the original P790, then I'm going to hit the new one in 7-iron, see how the kind of new and old stack up, and I've also got a 4-iron and a pitching wedge, and we're going to see, is P790, the new one, much of a change, or is it more of just a facelift that you guys have already got P790, won't be looking to change for, but anyone who was disappointed when they ran out of P790s, we've got the nice new slightly shinier looking one that could be going in your bag. Right then guys, so the original P790, I can see there, carry distance of 181 with my 5 shots, total 188. I mean, as ever, you know, you see lots of ball speed out of that. Good launch angle for me at 20.3. Spin's always a touch on the low side just because of the strong loft, but it's a nice high shot. And generally speaking for me, I think the original one was relatively soft feeling, really down to the speed foam, the resin that's inside the head. Right then guys, so as we saw there, you know, the original P790, for me a really great looking golf club, strong performance, and down at LGA and St Anne's Old Links fitted a huge number of golfers into P790, and I think there was a sense of disappointment as stock run out, but like I said, I'm really pleased that they stuck with P790 and not tried to do anything too fancy. It's already kind of a modern classic, and I think this is just a bit of a facelift. So we're going to continue to hit Titleist Pro V1X on TrackMan normalized data. So I've got 7-iron set up exactly the same as I had the original one. Let's hit 5 shots with this, see how the two models stack up, see if there is any difference in kind of looks, feel, performance. Then I'll hit 5 with 4-iron, 5 with pitching wedge, and decide what we think about P790. So from the back of the club, not massively different looking. Very noticeable that it doesn't say Taylormade on the back, but certainly inside the head, a slightly lower profile with the tungsten weight. It's going to give a slightly higher launch and better ball flight, Taylormade are claiming. We've got inverted cone technology in the face as well. Progressive through the irons, so should give slightly better accuracy on miss-hit shots. Got a slightly thinner top line and slightly smaller head, but when you look at the two clubs side by side, don't look at a massive difference from the back. Like I said, more visual than anything, and certainly when you look down at them side by side, for me personally I don't really see much of a difference, but I'd be interested to see how they perform differently, if at all. So like I said, when I put it behind the ball, I don't really see any difference in that, which I don't mind. I didn't think it was too thick a top line anyway in P790, so it still looks great behind the golf ball. Now definitely just felt I didn't quite get all of that one, but getting out at 178, you know, really impressive performance, and it'd be interesting just to hit 2 or 3 of these. Definitely think it feels a little bit different. Now I'm guessing the speed foam will be slightly different in these than it was in the first ones, which is probably going to be more of the feel. So again, good carry at 180, and it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, I'm not expecting these to be going loads further. It's just a facelift on that original model. Definitely for me feels maybe a little bit softer, which I don't think is a bad thing. I thought there's other hollow-headed irons on the market that there's no resin inside, and I think they feel a little bit clicky. But certainly for me, I did like the original and continue to like the upgraded version. Yeah, it's easy to hit, looks good, feels good, still ticks all the boxes. And I think even off those first few shots, I think the new P790 will still be a huge selling golf club. So 30.5 degrees, so not the strongest 7-iron out there. But as I've spoken about in some videos, don't necessarily need to be hitting 7-iron 200 yards through the air. So that's 5 shots. I think we were 181 carry and 188 total. So if we look at the new P790, just under 184 carry, 192 total. So a couple more yards. Now for me, ball speed's not really changed. It's maybe just launched fractionally lower, even though maybe the CG's actually lower in this head. Peak height round about the same. If anything, just spinning a tiny bit less, and that's just getting me those extra couple of yards out of those shots. Right then, guys, so 7-iron, I mean, nothing in it really. Couple of yards extra performance. Nobody's going to turn down those extra couple of yards. So let's switch over onto 4-iron. Let's see how easy that is to hit. So 4-iron again behind the ball, I think looks really, really good. Very easy to hit. Obviously new UDIs as well, so that was a continuation into kind of what was hugely popular for Taylormade. So I was kind of 184 carry with 7-iron, so should be round about that around 210 total with 4-iron. A little bit cutty. So reasonable strike, a little bit heely. Bang on the money at 210. And that's what I do like with kind of the hollow-headed irons, is that little bit of forgiveness on the mishits. That one directionally a little bit better. Might get a few more yards out of that one as well. Felt a little bit quicker off the club face. 220, so that's big carry with a 4-iron. And yeah, I mean, it really feels that it goes like a bullet off the club face. Now, we'll look at that one again, 222. Now, my only little concern is because this is going so far, maybe the gaps in the bag start getting a little bit too big. But certainly for any guys who might blend the sets a little bit, I think the long irons in P790 are very, very easy to hit. Just turn that one over a little bit. But again, feels like good solid strike and going to be really getting out there. I mean, that huge carry. I mean, total nearly 245 with a 4-iron. Almost feels like the lad's on tour. Again, just drifting a little bit to the right. Wind is off the left today, but that should straighten a touch once it normalises. Again, huge at 228. So we look at the averages there. So lots and lots of ball speed, launching a little bit higher, so maybe that lower CG just doing that little bit of work. Certainly I'm always a little bit on the low side spin just because I'm quite shallow with my angle of attack. But 221 carry, 238 total. I mean, just very, very long for a 4-iron and just very, very easy to hit. So that moves us nicely into the pitching wedge. Now 45 degrees, now this is where I think with some of the modern sets it becomes a little bit hard because the 7-irons are getting quite strong loft. 30.5 with the 7-iron, I think it's 21 with the 4-iron, so you don't always get that 3-degree gap. But once you get into the short irons, you start seeing a 5-degree gap, which then for me is going to be more than 10 yards. So The forehand did go a little bit further than I thought, but I would still expect 150. Looking at how far 7-iron was, this should be round about 145, 150 carry. Now, if that's the case, that for me will be super long with pitching wedge and potentially a little bit too far. So again, I think it looks great behind the golf ball. Just feels fantastic. Do like them. I could quite easily put these in my golf bag. So solid strike. 138. So just maybe fractionally back of where I would expect. So like I said, maybe just with those gaps with the degrees, we're not in traditional clubs now playing a 10-yard gap. Maybe in the short end and the top end might only be 7 or 8 yards, but when you get into the wedges, it might be more like kind of 15 yards. But 138, I'd still be happy with that, just maybe not quite as far as the clubs would suggest. Now that one just a little bit clean. Yeah, a little bit heely. So it'll be interesting to see how much performance drop-off there is there. So 8 yards, little bit of drop-off. Not awful by any means. Should still hit the green. And again, decent strike. Certainly with these sets, it definitely hits the ball up in the air. Really gets the ball up with all the clubs. And it's a pretty consistent height. So I like the fact not everybody will be starting at 4-iron, but certainly wherever you start at, should be trying to get that peak height about the same iron to iron. Again, feels really, really good. Expecting that to be around about that 136, 137. Okay, 134, there or thereabouts. And one last one. But yeah, I mean, I can't fault them. Looks is good, performance is good. Numbers kind of give me round about what I would expect. So let's look at the average for the pitching wedge and just see how that kind of stacks in. So again, ball speed's good, launch is good, distance is round about right. Backspin's good there. It's kind of getting more towards where we would expect that to be. And I think, if anything, that's been a slight downside with certain models of clubs, is that even the wedge not spinning, it's a struggle sometimes for guys to get maximum stop on the ball. But all in all, good solid performance from the new P790s. Right then guys, so the new P790, did it perform well? Yes. Did it perform massively different to the original P790s? No, not really. There's not huge differences in there. There's kind of little upgrades with kind of the face, little bit of an upgrade with the tungsten in there. But like I said at the start of the video, I love the fact that Taylormade aren't taking something that's been massively successful and making huge changes. It's refinements. It's kind of, like I said at the start, like the car manufacturers do. They don't change everything. Taylormade have kept the name. They've kind of just enhanced the performance of this. It was already a great performing iron. If you've got the old P790s, will you be looking to change? Not for me. Not unless yours are absolutely battered that you've played so much golf. But I think any of the guys who maybe have been toying with the idea of P790s, and Taylormade had run out of stock in Europe, so it was difficult. Some guys wanted them that couldn't get them. Hopefully this will get a good shelf life again like the original one did. But I think this will still be a huge selling model, and I think it's still a great iron. Price-wise has gone up a little bit. You'd kind of expect that. It's now in line with the P760s. But all in all, new P790, great club, looks great, feels well, feels good, performs fantastically well. If you're in the market for some really forgiving, good performing irons, these are definitely something you should be having a look at. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Comment in the box below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed today's content and you don't currently subscribe, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Make sure you get my videos as soon as they drop. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.